Hey, and welcome back. Today's video is going to be about 4 words that we commonly use and even more commonly think that can actually have a really detrimental effect on our mental health, our well-being, and our level of happiness. I hope you enjoy today's video, and if you do, you find it useful, or hopefully both, then please do click that like button. Write some comments in the comments box, whether they are positive or a little bit more critical, whether they are offering suggestions or whether you have questions. And please do subscribe to my channel. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shirley Green and my channel is called It's a Relationship Thing, where we explore all things to do with human relationships, the good, the bad and the downright dangerous. So what are these 4 small words and why do they cause us so many problems? The 4 words are, why can't you just? And the reason they cause problems we'll come on to. I want to start by just looking at what we actually mean when we say those words and how they affect us emotionally, both as a prompt to saying them and also as a consequence of saying them. And then we will look at why people can't just, before moving on to look at some of the ways that we can change our own thinking and behaviour in order to reduce the level of harm we do to our own well-being and mental health and happiness. So, what do we actually mean when we say the words, why can't you just? Now, on occasion, it's just a problem-solving activity. For instance, why can't you just turn the car around and go back the way we came if you're lost? No problem there, it's not going to cause you any difficulties whatsoever. However, there are 2 ways that we use that sentence with other words which do hurt us. The first one being, why can't you just do as you're told? Why can't you stop arguing? Why can't you just accept what I'm saying? Why can't you just keep your bedroom tidy? Why can't you just cook the food properly? Why can't you just whatever? What we are actually trying to say there is, why can't you just obey me without question? This comes from a place of entitlement. This comes from a place where we believe that what we want and how we want the world to run is the right way. Quite often this starts in early childhood with parents who overindulge their children. I've never really understood why parents are proud to say, oh, I spoil my kids, because spoilt means ruined. And as an adult, that can cause you all sorts of problems. So if you grow up in a household where you are given everything you want without having to earn it, without having some sort of effort involved, then you grow into an adult who believes that that's okay and that's how the rest of the world should work. But we know that the rest of the world doesn't work like that. Not every other human being who you will engage is going to be your parent who is going to want to indulge you in that way. And that can leave us feeling really frustrated and sometimes really angry and maybe even violent when people do not do what we want in the way we want. And also it can lead to us wanting retribution. You've upset me, you haven't done things my way, you're going to pay. The second way that we use that sentence is, why can't you just love me? Why can't you just take care? Why can't you just take care of me? Why can't you prove to me that I matter to you, that I'm valuable to you? In those cases, what we're really saying is, why can't you just heal me? Why can't you just make me feel better? And that comes from a place of childhood deficits, of carrying around a bag of unresolved pain from our childhood, where we are left with a big hole that we're looking for someone else to fill. Why can't they? Why can't they just give us what we want from life? Why can't they just take our pain away? Because they're human beings too. And if you think about the question, why can't you just obey me without question? For everybody else in the world, why should they? They owe you nothing. They're not responsible for you. It's not their job to make sure you have all your wants met. And if you look at the big whole, the people around you are not the people who caused the hole. They do not know what to do. They can't possibly understand what your needs are. And quite often, I've had lots of experience of this, somebody's been trying desperately to fill that hole, to prove to that person that they are loved and cared for, and the person just does not accept it. They question it. And so the hole remains huge. And the person who is trying to help just ends up exhausted. And either way, in either circumstance, you'll find that a lot of people, a lot of really good people who could make your life really good quality, tend to disappear. So what is the impact on us of having the feelings that prompt us to say those questions? For people at the extreme end of either of those, so people who are extremely entitled or people who are extremely hurt in the past, this can lead to narcissistic traits where you start putting yourself outside of society, thinking you deserve something different to everyone else, either in a positive, I'm better than you, or in a negative, I'm terrible and I can't survive without you kind of way. It can also lead to high levels of frustration and anger and disappointment. And it's that chronic disappointment that we want to try and avoid, because the frustration and the disappointment are the things that are going to affect our well-being, our happiness, and our mental health. So why can't we get what we want? The truth is we can, but we have to work for it. We have to figure out exactly what it is that we do want, and then figure out what skills, knowledge, experiences, what people we need around us to help us to achieve those goals, not to do it for us. So the first step is taking responsibility for our own futures, rather than expecting all the people around us to magically be able to do it for us, because the chances are most of them won't. If you can just understand that the people around you owe you nothing and that you have to earn your rewards, then just check yourself whenever you start to feel yourself saying things like, why can't you just? And you have that sense of frustration. These thought processes start in our emotional brain. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know we can't trust our emotional brain. So what we need to do is disengage that and go into our cognitive human brain, where we can actually see the bigger picture. Why can't you meet this emotional need I have to feel loved and wanted? The reason probably is that that person may have their own issues. They may have not got the skills and the knowledge and understanding of you that they need to be able to do that. Or they might be doing that and you're just missing the signs. So we need to get away from our emotional brain into our thinking brain, so that we can actually look at the situation more kindly and more realistically. And try and avoid thinking, why can't you be the person I want you to be, rather than the person you are? Because that sends a very clear message to them that who they are is not good enough for you. So if you do feel generally disappointed quite a lot in the people around you or in society in general, here's a few tips that you can use which may just help you to feel better. The first one is about forward thinking. Thinking about what it is you want or you need in life, and then planning how to get it. So we need to have some sort of goal. If what you want is a really good relationship, think about those relationship skills that you will need in order to get one. Because believe me, you'll never have a good relationship if you just want to take, if you expect that other person to meet your needs. So what do you need? Go and find out, put the work in, put the effort in, look in the mirror and reflect on yourself. The next thing you need to do is develop empathy for other people and start seeing them as real life human beings as well. That way you can understand where they're coming from. You can have more realistic, more fulfilling conversations with them, and you can start to work towards goals together. So if what you want is loads of money and you want the big house and the flash car and you think that that's important to you, then you can start networking with the right people who can help you to get there. Not do it for you, help you. The next thing that may help is actually to do things because it's the right thing to do, rather than you're going to gain something from it. Lots of mental health practitioners now will recommend volunteering for someone who has got mental health problems, because by helping someone else, we automatically feel better about ourselves. we start to fill that hole of emptiness, and we start to reduce the amount of feelings of entitlement we've got. Because by working with more vulnerable people, working with people who need us more, we get a better perspective on the world, and our own needs become slightly less important. The next two are sometimes a bit difficult for people. The first one is about practicing gratitude, being thankful for what you have got rather than craving something you haven't got. And that is also included in your relationships. So rather than wanting somebody to do this thing for you, be grateful if they do that thing. If they are showing you kindness, maybe they always cook you tea, or they will remember to make you a cup of coffee when you want one, then be grateful for those little things, because they're the things that you can nurture and grow, rather than worrying about the fact that you'd had a bad day at work and your partner didn't want to hear about it, or you needed that report done, you didn't have time to do it, and the person who you wanted to do it just was too busy. And the other thing can be even more difficult to do, which is celebrate other people's successes. You need empathy to be able to celebrate other people's successes. But believe me, if you can find joy in somebody else achieving something, it is the most wonderful feeling. You haven't had to put the work in, you haven't had to put the effort in, but you still get the joy. And kind of that's what we're looking for, isn't it? Joy in our lives. Recognize that you are expecting other people to focus their lives around your needs. That is going to be detrimental to you. That is going to cause both frustration and disappointment. And so stop it as soon as you can. It's not easy to change the way we think and the way we view the world, but you can check yourself whenever you hear yourself thinking or saying those words, why can't you just? And just pause and reflect for a little while and see if there's another way you can deal with that situation. Accept that nobody owes you anything. The most comfortable relationships are equal. So just remember, neither the world or any of the people in it owe you anything. I think this next one is a really important one, and this is about being able to identify the difference between what you want and what you need, because quite often people get those things muddled. Nobody on this planet needs a big house, a posh car, a huge bank balance, and designer clothes. What they need is food, shelter, warmth, relationships, trusting relationships, somebody who is going to be able to listen to them and help them, and who they can provide that service to as well. So our needs and our wants are very, very different. And if you can identify the differences for yourself, then you can focus on your needs rather than your wants, and you'll find your life becomes more fulfilling and that your mental health and your well-being increase. And lastly, it's about learning what you can control and what you can't control. And I'm going to leave you with the AA Serenity Prayer, which I personally found really helpful. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things I can change, and give me the wisdom to know the difference. Accepting things you can't change can be a real challenge, especially for people who have a hole that they need to be filled, or who have always been overindulged and are suddenly expected to stand on their own 2 feet. But if you can achieve that, I will guarantee that you will have much less frustration and a lower level of disappointment in your life. If you found today's video helpful in any way, please do subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and I really would be interested in any of your comments. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.